This week, August the 5th to the 11th, is Homelessness Week in Australia. And the theme is Homelessness Action Now. On Census night in 2021, 122,494 people were estimated to be experiencing homelessness. Males made up 55.9% and females 44.1%. 23% of all people experiencing homelessness were aged from 12 to 24 years. This morning, we are privileged to have three guests who are having a remarkable impact supporting those who are challenged by not having a place to call home. Our guests include Tony Clark, Deb Longman, and Josh Wilkins. Tony, let's start with you coming live from Brisbane. Backpack Bed for Homelessness is a national homeless charity. It helps the homeless by answering the question of what do we do when homeless have no shelter? Tell us about it.
Backpack Bed for Homeless. We like to give dignity and keep folks doing it tough on the street alive until the politicians' rhetoric actually kicks in. It's doing it tough on the street without anything because humans aren't built to sleep on the streets. We're just not built. We die if we don't have protection. So this is a backpack bed. It's a 3-kilo backpack that rolls out into a 3-window tent, an outdoor shelter. It's got a built-in mattress, a lockable pocket with a key lock. It's got a Mylar emergency blanket. And with this, you will be able to handle sub-degree temperatures and humid environments. It's also got a large full-body mosquito mesh that will keep the bugs off you on those really hot nights. Ergonomic chest strap, and it's incredible. It's won 8 awards internationally. It's in 4 international museums. And but what's important is that it keeps folks alive. It's good to have food. It's good to have this. It's good to have that. But when you look at a pyramid, if you don't stay alive tonight, you suffer, you get sick, you lose your effort to want to survive, and you go down a spiral. And there's lots of studies that talk about that. Now, we also got so angry with what we saw out there on the streets because there's none. There's a lot of good intentions gone wrong and things that are not fit for purpose. And when we saw some of this, I decided to make a fire retardant without chemicals. All the material and the backpack bed, of course, is also fire retardant, but this is a fire retardant sleeping bag. This has also won an international award, good design award, and you can wash it over 400 or 500 times. And we have done that because we have an industrial washing machine in the office, and it will still be fire retardant to airline blanket standards. Now, with this backpack bed, it's $115. This is a fire retardant sleeping bag. It's $35. Probably in retail, you'd pay a heck of a lot more. But the key is that with every one of these products that we have, we put a reply paid postcard inside these products. And when an individual receives them, they can write us a message. And when we get those messages sent back to us, it breaks your heart. The most common one is suicide, mental health, depression. And for the females, you can only imagine the nightmare stuff that they write. But there's a lot of love and gratefulness that when they get these products, they treat them like absolute gold. We've had a lot of folks who've lost it, misplaced it, and they are devastated. They're also proud to say that, look, anyone wants to they might have a drug problem or this problem or this problem. Well, people make up all sorts of stories and they're going to sell it because it's such good kit. No, a lot of folks come back to us and say, oh, somebody offered me $100 US or $100 or $150 or whatever it was. And they go, I didn't do it. It's mine, because they know if they don't have it, they're going to suffer that night. Largest international consulting firm on the planet came up to us and said, hey, we love your work. And they came up with a conclusion using Australian government figures. Australia wouldn't lie. Often they do, but these government figures were so shocking. They discovered that a backpack bed actually saves the community $3,319. So $115 product, saving the community in health and justice costs and hospitalization and more, $3,319. Of course, politicians are not famous for their school of finance logic and saving taxpayer money, but we keep progressing and we just get the job done. And the people out there know we get the job done. And we work with over 900 homeless agencies in Australia alone. We're only a team of 3. And we want to say thank you to everybody out there for your support, backpackbed.org. And if you see someone doing it tough on the street, don't just walk past them, acknowledge them, give a bit of a prayer for them. God bless you all.
Tony, a remarkable story. Wonderful to hear the impact that you are having. I'd like to bring in Deb Longman now, who coordinates the Mitcham Community Meal in Melbourne. Deb, your motto is community serving community. What's this all about?
We started back in 2018. When I say we, it was my sister and brother-in-law who were walking, literally live in Mitcham, walking around the streets doing their shopping, and they noticed a few homeless people and thought, hey, approach them, we need to do something. So the first thing they thought of was provide some food, and that's how the meal began, with about 10 people. They approached a number of different local churches in the area and places that had facilities that could do a meal, and then do a meal in numbers, which is now we're operating around 60, 65 people every Sunday night in Mitcham. We've got people who travel from all over the area, even though we're technically for the Whitehorse area. We've got couples that travel from Footscray, as I mentioned earlier today. People who travel down the train line. We're close to a train line, so it's easy for people to get to us, close to buses as well. All Saints Anglican Church in Mitcham is the church that said, no, you can use our place, and they don't charge us any rent. They don't, they pay for all the utilities, which is the cooking, the gas, the electricity, the heating. So we're very, very blessed in that we've got a group of people who are partnering with us at no cost at all. As I say, we began in 2018. We're still going strong. And, you know, when you're serving 60 people a week and that grows, the largest we've got to is 80. We can't seat any more than that. We don't have enough seats. So everything we've done has been really an incredible blessing. And the people that come to us are all sorts of people. Some are homeless. Many are people in the community who just want a place to go and sit where it's warm, have a cup of tea, then have a meal and chat to other people and build relationship. So we've got regulars who come. We've got those who just pop in on a Sunday. Those who've heard about us, a couple of months ago had lost their house in a fire, and they'd heard of us. And so again, through different agencies who refer people down to us, although we are not an agency that refers to anyone, we just provide a meal. We're very simple, very low key. Tony's mentioned money and funding. I think the biggest thing for us is dignity. It's about restoring dignity to people who just need somewhere to go and somewhere to be with other people. So it is community serving community. The volunteers we can have over 3,000 volunteers within a year. We have volunteers who cook the main meal, which is 2 course, a main and a dessert. We have volunteers that cook soup in winter. We have volunteers that cook biscuits and cakes. We have a bakery that's on board with us and supplies fresh bread and baked goods every Sunday. Orange Sky comes on board and does washing for us. And One Voice, through Josh Wilkins, who's also going to speak today, provides a shower van for us. And all of these are volunteers. And I think that's what's been one of the biggest blessings for us, is that Mitcham Community Meal is not just about serving those who are vulnerable and in need, but it's been a place where volunteers can come and serve others as well. So we've found that it's just grown and grown and grown. We're now in our 6th year of operation. All volunteers, a very small board of management, and I use the term loosely because we are a very, very local little group who's really, we feel, now punching way above our weight.
I've experienced it myself, and the wonderful response you get from your folk that are coming in for the meal, but also those that are providing the meal, that sense of community, all working together. It's a win-win for all. Thanks, Deb, for your contribution this morning. I'd like to bring in Josh Wilkins now, who's the founder of One Voice, which Deb actually just referred to. Josh, the seed for a mobile shower service was planted during your encounter with homelessness in Melbourne. What transpired after this?
We built a number of mobile shower services, took them around Australia, learnt a lot of lessons from that. I think when I got into providing showers, and I just want to touch on Tony and Deb mentioning dignity, I think what is really lack of out there or in need is helping restore people's dignity. If you don't have dignity, then it's hard to take next steps to anything really. So that's the purpose of the showers as well. When I got into it, I think the two things I identified was obviously housing as well. So it was mobile showers and housing. The housing project to me was obviously a bigger step. In our years of operation, we've obtained a 30-acre property out in the Macedon Ranges. And even that in itself has been a journey. We've housed a few different people there from different walks of life. And it showed a lot of stuff to me about people that want to be homeless, those that do want to stay out there. There's the fact that people need time to help restore what's gone on the inside of them, to then take that step forward. Then there's people that can snap out of it just like that, and move forward. And I think that all boils down to the support that you've got around you. You know, in back conversations today, talking prior to this, we were talking about showing people love. And I think that's what they miss out there. A lot of people are broken because they don't have that connection with someone close. And I think if what we're trying to look at now is talking to local councils and government, which is hard, because they all say they want to help with certain things, but I think it's lots of different little projects that need to happen. You can't house homeless people all in the same place. You'd know from Stable 1 more than likely that if you've got a whole different range of people's needs in the one place, it starts creating problems. Whereas if you can maybe identify and pick out different people that have different needs that are similar to each other, you may start to try and then start doing things. One thing I learned in the past years housing people is that people need something to connect into. If you don't have something to connect into, it's going to be hard to take that next step. And like I mentioned just before, it's about restoring what's gone on in here that got you in that situation in the first place to take the next step. So if you allow a small environment where people can be engaged in activities that may help them find what they're passionate about, that's what our next step is. So we have this 30-acre property that we're hoping to put a couple of little cabins on. It already has existing residents on it, and we want to try and raise the funds to be able to pursue this sort of next step. So that's what we're up to now. We still in the background continue to try and build the showers. You getting overwhelmed, Deb? We're experiencing a lot of people that aren't actually homeless. They can't afford their gas and electricity, so they come down to us for a shower. So yeah, we'll continue to do that in the background, but our next project is doing something with housing and social enterprise to empower people to take the next step.
You talked about dignity, Josh, and I'm sure that if someone hasn't had a shower for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, to come and get that shower would be just such a wonderful experience for them. So you're providing really something very special for those who are challenged in that space. Tony Clark, Deb Longman, Josh Wilkins, I think you all deserve gold medals. We've got the Olympic Games going on at the moment, but I reckon you should be up there on the podium. There are many people and organisations in our community that are doing remarkable work supporting the homeless, and we are privileged to have 3 of them here at Monday Matters. Thank you for being our guests today.